Hello Tubesters, it's me Gav and welcome to another video. Sorry about all the light bouncing off me on this one side here. I've only got my painting lamps to obviously light videos up at the moment, so it's always a bit of a push and pull to get the best lighting effect. Anyway, as you've seen by the title, hopefully you'll see it's an unboxing on Airfix's 1:48 scale Sea Fury. Is it the FB? Yeah, the FB11, the export version. Hang on, let's see if we can get her in here. Hence why I've got the camera a bit farther back. Now I know what you're saying, Gav, how come, you know, as a post-war, I mean, I love aircraft from literally the SE5 in the Great War to, you know, the Dassault Rafale now. You know, it doesn't really matter to me. I've always been a bit of a lover of aircraft, but I do like post-war aircraft particularly, and obviously you can claim that the Sea Fury is a post-war aircraft, and it's the last of the Royal Navy's piston-engined fighter bomber aircraft. And to me, I've always said, if there was a way for the piston engine to go out of, you know, military aviation, then to wrap it up in the, you know, in the body more or less of the Sea Fury, I think you can. It's a great epitaph you can get. I've loved the aircraft. I've been privileged to see it once or twice flying back in the day, not recently, but you know, a good few years ago. I managed to get to a couple of air shows and seen the Sea Fury flying, and it's spectacular. In my playlists, if anybody's ever visited them, obviously I have all my other stuff broken up into different figures I'm painting, models. I've got a page for my kit builds, but I've got a fair few pages of aircraft that I'm interested in, and that gets filled up over time. At the moment there's only a few up there. F-16, the Dassault Rafale, Sea Fury now, A7 I believe, you name it. There's a few up there anyway. I've been forgetting what I've got up there at the moment, but I've loved the Sea Fury. There are a couple of guys' builds that I've seen online which really gave me the taste for getting this kit in. Jason Champion's got like a full build video up, and that's good to watch. So if you go to Champion Scale Modelling, he's got one on there, and Military Modeller Paul, he's done a beautiful Sea Fury. Done it like a vlog, I suppose, or you know, anyway, it's up in a series of videos on his channel. So go and see Paul's channel if you want to see that Sea Fury. Also, when I went to Telford, there were, you know, numerous Sea Furies dotted around people's club benches, and it's just it's a beautiful aircraft. I mean, we'll look at it in a minute. I've got this one now because I'm not going to turn into somebody that's got 10,000 kits or at least a dozen on the go. I just haven't got the room and I haven't got the time for that. What I'm trying to do is my 1:35 scale full interior build of the T55. That's the mini art one. That's going on as a steady. I'm just enjoying that immensely, and that's going on. I worked out the day, I'd probably do about 4-6 hours on it a week, probably 4 hours more than anything. And it just, if that goes for another 3 or 4 months, that's as long, or even longer. That's as long as it takes. You know, it's just I'm just plodding along with it and enjoying it. I've got the 1:72 Landweser Schlepper, which, if you haven't seen that one, it's a bit of a mouthful, I know. It's a tracked tug that the German army in World War II used for river crossings and things, moving barges around and pilings on bridges and things like that. It's only stalled for the moment because I'm trying to scratch build a couple of things and they're not going well. So, and I'm giving myself probably about another week and a half to actually get that. If I can't do it, I'll button it up and finish painting it, and you'll see it soon. So that should be next 2 or 3 weeks. You'll see that. But I won't do the Sea Fury until this Schlepper is completed, because what I'm trying to do is the 1:35 scale. That's going to be just an ongoing build, and then in between that, apart from all the figures I paint either for myself, you'll usually see the larger figures are my figures, and the smaller, the 18 mils and stuff, I paint for commission work. for what, you know, I mainly paint war game historical figures for like a paying work, commission painting. That's the word I was trying to get to. So yeah, the Sea Fury probably won't be along until December, but when it's on, I'd like to get that. I don't want that to linger. I'd like to hit that, throw some time at it and get it done. I fell flat on my face when I tried to do the 1 in 72 Starfighter. That was the first ever kit I'd built in, you know, 35 years plus. I'm hoping this one will go better. So guys, join me down at the bench and let's have a crack open the box and have a look at this Sea Fury. Hello cheersers, thanks for joining me down at the bench. We've cracked open the box and out come the instructions. Now I've looked at the instructions. I've only just cut open the bag, so there'll be a bit of noise as we get the sprues out of the bag, but I didn't want to make because Airfix bagged them up in one go. I didn't want to get sprues in and out and end up dropping pieces that I end up standing on, which has happened once or twice before. As it says, gives you, as you all guys will know this type of stuff, it's giving you a bit of information on the Sea Fury itself. I believe the Sea Fury was actually put on the drawing board in 1943, and it says here it began its service in 47. I did think it was a bit earlier than that. I have got a book, a SAM publication book coming in. My wife did point out, yes, I bought this now because I saved a few quid on it, but I've ended up going, as I usually do, going and getting a reference book, so probably blown more than the savings on that, but never mind. Books are forever. Yeah, so if you guys don't know, the Sea Fury came into service, so they say here, in 1947 with the Royal Navy. It was the Royal Navy's last piston-engined fighter. It actually didn't, obviously, it saw service in the Korean War, and you've probably heard the story. Well, it's not a story, it's the truth, but you heard it shot down at least one MiG-15 jet. There's hearsay, whatever, that it might have shot down a couple more as well. And it was mainly using the ground attack role, which it was really successful at. It's got a Bristol Centaurus engine in. That can actually have a maximum speed of about 460 miles an hour and a range. I'm not sure about what the range is. I'm not going to say that now because that looks a bit... the armament, 420mm cannon, 12 13-inch rockets, and a payload of about £2,000 worth of bombs. Now this is the export version. I will be doing, which I will show you in a minute actually, but yeah, this is what they call the export version, as flown by the Royal New Zealand Navy, Royal Australian Navy, Royal Canadian Navy, I'm not sure about the New Zealand, but definitely the Australians and the Canadians, I believe, use theirs in Korea as well. It was flown by the Royal Netherlands Navy, and that saw service again, I believe, without having a book in front of me, but from what I've cribbed online, that did actually see service in the Dutch East Indies against the insurgents in their Dutch East Indies colonies. So yeah, that's. It also served with the Iraq Air Force, the Cuban Air Force, which I believe it saw action against American aircraft. But it was soon grounded through lack of spares, obviously without the backing of the UK to supply bits to them. We've got by the look of it here, I always say I'm not doing a review as such, it's an unboxing. I don't got enough kits under my belt to give you a proper review, so half the time I don't know what I'm looking at, or to tell you properly. But it looks like we've got a nice central spar running along here, which will be good, because if that's what it's there for, because I can't get anything straight to save me life. Bits of engine on show, that beautiful Centaurus engine. And again, you've got bits here for locating the wings. I believe you can have the wings in the upward position. I am debating whether to do that, because I always have a lack of space. But it's such a gorgeous aircraft to look at. It would almost be a shame to put the wings up. I'll just put these decals out the way for a minute. We've got for the common stencil data. And so when we get to the decals, I'll show you the one that I'm doing. We've got 2-piece tyres. Again, the guys who've got experience will tell me if that's good or bad. I'm going to probably be doing my aircraft clean, as I say, with no, I don't know if I mentioned that, with no stores on, only because of the aircraft I'm going to be depicting. But you've got a full stores issue here of, I presume, fuel tank, bombs, rockets, all the usual good stuff. You can have the canopy. Sorry, but I've just got, as usual, I've got no room. We'll get better at this one day. But you can have the canopy open and closed, which is good. And now we get to the colour schemes. This one is number 805 Squadron, Royal Australian Navy, Nowra, New South Wales, Australia, August 30th, 1955. This aircraft is depicted on the box art, and you'll see it if you caught a glimpse of it and thinking, well, I thought it was a Piper Cub, but why is this Oster J4 Archer being shot, a civilian aircraft being shot down? For some reason it was an unmanned Ulster that had got out of control, and the jets had tried to shoot it down, and I presume were overshooting it, and they brought in the Sea Furies to do the job. So that's your Australian one. It looks like when I've been looking up at on the photographs online, they're very much from the Royal Navy, Australian Navy, the Royal Netherlands Navy. That they all seem to more or less share the same type of paint scheme. Not always, because I've seen preserved examples flying in some beautiful types of. I think they were Australian, like a really bright blue colour. But this one is more or less in like a. Not to insult the Royal Australian Navy, but like a Royal Navy type of Sea Fury colour. Then we've got this guy here, which is number 803 Naval Air Squadron, Royal Canadian Navy, HMAS CS Warrior in Canada in 1948, so a real early example. Got the maple leaf in the middle there. Again, you've got that beautiful, like, almost, you couldn't call it was it elliptical wing like the Spitfire's got, because obviously it's squared off at the end, but it's a fantastic aircraft. And when you see it banking I've got a lot of videos in my playlist, and just watch it banking away. It's a beautiful sight. Cracking 5-bladed prop as well. So that's the 2 out of the 3, and this is the one that I'm hoping to do, which is the Dutch one. And this is a license built one by Fokker, the FB Mark 51, and it's aircraft flown by Lieutenant. No, I'm going to miss, because I'm just going to wreck that. So let's just say it's a VSQ, which I take it's a Squadron 860, Royal Netherlands Naval Air Service, and that's Naval Air Station Valkenburg in the Netherlands in 1953. And I just thought this was slightly a bit different. For me to actually mask a straight line and not have it blow under and pull paint off, that's going to be a task in itself. But I fancy a go on that. Obviously, there are loads of schemes, as I've mentioned to you. You can do Pakistani ones, you can do Iraqi ones, Cuban ones. Believe Burma flew them as well. So there's lots of us, and say some of the Australian paint schemes I've seen, they were a bit different as well. But I fancy this one out, out the decal sheet. I don't have to buy any more decals or anything, and I just think it's attractive with this orange nose to it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Let's have a quick squiz at the decals themselves. Now these were put at the bottom of the box, underneath the instructions, and this like tracing paper stuff had half come off. It hadn't done any damage, but they probably put them in separate so then they know they've got them in. But it would be nice probably to put them between instructions, maybe, to if they weren't going to put a separate bag on them. Now there is no point me going on about register and things, because I've just, I've got no real clue about that type of stuff. Oh, as I've now dropped my camera, I was a bit lucky. Sorry guys, I'm not going to edit this as usual with my videos, so bear with me. Hopefully that's not going to drop out. Right, let's just move it up to the camera rather than... carrier film, they're quite shiny. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but as I'm going to have probably a satin finish to mine anyway, I don't think that would be a problem. I can't see a great deal of carrier film at all on the edges of the lettering, so where it says navy. Loads of common stencil data up here, and then obviously you've got specific data, for Australia, Canada, and the Netherlands. Actually, looking at the Netherlands one, there's less stencil data, I believe, so that's probably a good thing. So yeah, that's my decals. I can't see that it says any that it's printed by, but I know you guys like to, if it's by cartograph or things like that. I couldn't tell you. You probably know more than me. So let's actually get onto the sprues. Now they come in one great big bag. Let's see if we can away from it. We've got one great big bag. We've got our clear parts. So might as well look at those first as they're here. We'll grab one sprue out at a time. I'm not going to take them out of the bag if you don't mind. Like I might have, I don't know if that's just a hair on the inside or something on the inside, or if that's a scratch yet, I don't know. I really can't, oh, that looks a bit scuffed up in the top corner there. We shall see. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, and then we'll see when we actually come to the build. And then I've got a feeling I might be asking advice on how to buff out scratches on canopies. Got our beautiful 5-bladed prop. Tiny bit of mould line around the outside, which I'd have expected. We've got the bombs. And we've got the pylons for the carrying the weapons, I believe. Probably shoot myself down here. And they've got some bits of some bits of wiring and that moulded onto them, so that's nice. Got the arrestor hook. The exhausts that you'll find sticking out. It's got a metallized square like that's because it takes a lot of the heat off the exhaust, I presume. And the Sea Fury usually has a bare metal panel for the engine, for the exhaust heat and smoke and that, so it doesn't stuff the paintwork up. And they've already got nice little holes in them already, so you don't have to try and pre-drill those. So that's nice. It's all done in like a light grey plastic, as you can see. There aren't many sprues to show you. These are our rockets. As I say, I'm going to probably do mine clean. there's flash around these smaller parts. All the small parts have got flash round, so that's going to take a bit of cleaning out. I presume with the rockets, I'm not sure if they wouldn't have been drilled out slightly. Maybe you might have to do that if you're going to use the rockets. It's like the back of the seat, I'd imagine. I'm not going to be throwing any extras at this. I'm not a good enough modeller to throw money at kits like this until I'm, more proficient. Got fuel tanks. Here are our two-piece wheels, and they're moulded slightly flat, which is good to obviously weight. Was it weight on wheels? That's the word I was after, rather than flat. I presume these are our legs. We've got some inside detail with hydraulic cables. Cockpit inner. Got some moulded on switches and dials. I'll be able to know what does what when I get my book, which will probably be in the next few days. Now I know that when Airfix brought the original Sea Fury out, where it's bombing the bridge in Korea, there were bits of these tails missing. Well, mine doesn't have any of this in this export version, and I'd imagine it's more or less the same. This piece here is the panel, I believe, that's normally done in metal. Got a mighty radial engine here, which doesn't look too bad. Now, one of the other things as well was the panels were deep on one side and light on the other, and I hasten to say that was on the Royal Navy version. To my untrained eye, this looks perfect to me. The bolts, the rivet heads here are in raised relief, obviously. Some people, I said like these, they were larger than they should be. Again, as a noob, I'm not even going to go there. They're good enough for me. But no, I'm glad. I'm glad I don't have to. I mean, it's supposedly be a simple task to fill. Some had these bits, larger pieces missing, and some had smaller pieces missing. But luckily on this export version, we've got no pieces missing. These are these spars again, and the bit that's exposed, you've got some riveting on. Now that's really nice. As I say, the panel lines, you always have the debate on all aircraft, should they be deeper? Are they too soft? Not enough. For me, I'm not going to enter that debate. I don't know enough. A few more bombs here, obviously the wings. Again, I like the work on here again, on the undercarriage bays. So that's it, guys. And as I say, it's not a review. It was just, you probably can't see a great deal. I understand that, but I like to, if I've got something in, I like to show it. So this is my Hawker Sea Fury. Let's just see if we can get the box in. I bet we can't get the box art in for you, but we'll try. But if you can see here against the glare, I mean, look at that's just such a beautiful shape aircraft. And then you see it up close and it's just a beast. It really is. Love that aircraft. As I say, this is depicting shooting this unmanned Oyster aircraft down as it was careering over the skies of New South Wales. So guys, thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look at this unboxing. This is the Airfix 1 in 48 Hawker Sea Fury, the FB11 export version, and I really look forward to getting on building this. So I really enjoy my aircraft, technically it is a post-war, well, it isn't technically, it is a post-war aircraft. It's just a particular one. I've seen it at air shows before, and I've really enjoyed it. So it's been a while back since I've been to an air show, but it stays with you. So guys, you take care of yourselves. I really appreciate you stopping by and taking a look at this video, and we will catch each other very, very soon on another one. Cheers.